Hey, let's paint a handsome guy. I'm not going to use my marker pad today. Today I am using a watercolor sketchbook that I bought recently. Okay, and I know I said that I wasn't gonna do that this year with my sketchbook, where I start a sketchbook, then while I'm in that sketchbook, I open another sketchbook. But it's just really hard to do that, especially when I want to try different mediums, and the marker pad is a marker pad. But I also want to work on my skills when it comes to gouache paintings, watercolor paintings, and acrylic paintings. While I was searching Pinterest, a few portraits stood out to me, but I had to go back to the first two I had in mind. Alright, so I really love the lighting on this one, but I also love this one as well. I love his beard, his curly hair, but I chose this one. But while I was searching underneath this one, I came across another portrait and I decided to go with that one. This right here. I did kind of stray and started to look underneath his picture too, but it's like, when will it end? I just came off because I knew myself. If I had stayed any longer, I would have definitely wasted all the time looking for a reference and not do anything with it. Alright, so I made the sketch off camera, but there is something I do want to point out. Someone said this to me as well. So they said that the sketch looks nothing like him, but that wasn't my intention at all. I wasn't trying to capture his likeness. I was just using him as inspiration. No pressure at all. I hardly draw men and I hardly do anything realistic, and I wasn't really going for a realistic look either. Just whatever I paint. Because the more you do, the more you improve. And that's my goal, to improve. So while I paint, I have an experience that I had recently that I want to share. Alright, so this kind of requires me to reintroduce myself. Hey, I'm Karina, and I'm not the most sociable person. I have a hard time articulating myself most of the time, but I have improved and I am working on it. And I'm also ridiculously shy. Like, sometimes it's just straight up embarrassing how shy I am. But let's move on. I went on the road recently and someone asked me to print a few papers for them. I was like, sure, I can do that. So I stopped by the print shop, whatever you call it. And while they were printing the papers for me, I actually remember that I've been meaning to come to the print shop to ask a few questions, because I'm currently working on comic books and storybooks, and I wanted to know, more about what they do and if they would be the persons I would turn to when I'm ready to have them printed. So after I rehearsed in my head, I said, "Excuse me, do you guys also do books?" He said, "Yes." And then I said, "Okay, what kind of books? How do they look?" Then he paused everything that he was doing and just looked at me very intently, very intimidatingly, if that's a word. No, as if you're looking at someone who just asked a dumb question. And because that was not the response that I was expecting, it kind of sent my mind into overdrive. I was like, darn, that's not what I rehearsed in my mind. I thought it was going to be different. What do I say now? Then he said, I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean? Are you asking me to print one and show you? I started stammering. I was like, no, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking how they would turn out, because I'm working on books and I want to know what kind of books do you guys print. Is it hardcover? Is it, just tell me, just describe it. He said okay, and he didn't really answer the question. And to be honest, I wasn't really curious anymore. I was just really embarrassed. I couldn't wait to leave. So, he gave me gave me an answer, not really to the question I was asking, and I just said, okay, thank you, and just backed away and waited for the papers and paid and just left because I was really embarrassed. And when I came out, because my sister was waiting for me outside, I decided to ask her, to tell her, what happened, and ask her the same question and ask her how she interpreted it. And she interpreted it as is. And I was like, okay, so that means I'm not the dumb one. Because that's how he had me feeling in the store. And I really can't wait to go back there because I will be going back confident. But not for now. I will be going back once I am actually ready to, do my books. So the reason why I was asking is because I was going to make, adjustments to what I'm working on if they'd only do certain sizes and this and that, but, they didn't want to talk to me. So when I go back with the size that I have and they don't do that, I just don't work with them. Simple as that. But yes, that is what happened. Alright, so the reason why I shared this experience is because this is not the first time something like this has happened before, And it just makes me wonder, do people go out of their way to make other people just seem dumb? And it's like, why do they choose me? I'm trying my best to communicate with people. And then when I do, this is the type of stuff that happens. Because this brings me back to another experience that I had. And it's also very recent. Bear with me. So I went to do my toenails, right? You do your French tips on your fingernails? The style I found on Pinterest also had a French tip on the toenail. So I went there and I said, okay. I showed them the picture that I want. They didn't have the colors. So I was like, okay, since you don't have the colors, I'll just change the colors. So I said, okay, I would want the French tip to be this color. And then, the rest of the toenail be that color. And then she said to me, she doesn't know what the heck I'm saying. She doesn't understand what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm saying something pretty simple. And you're making me out to be someone that's dumb and don't know what they're saying. It's like, come on, are you even trying to understand what I'm saying? Or do you just want to say that as I open my mouth? You just hear blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm sorry. Things like these just bothers me. But enough about them. Let's talk about the handsome man on screen that I'm painting. My hands are very shaky, so some of the lines are very crooked. But, that wasn't the point of this. So I didn't focus on that. I didn't try to fix it. I just went along with it. One thing that I do want to point out is that for this painting, I really tried to convince myself that I knew what I was doing. And that way I didn't overthink. And I think that's part of the reason why I was able to complete this. I realized that I have a tendency to overthink and just stress myself out before, even doing a painting. And that delays my painting process a lot. I have quite a few numbers of paintings right now that are currently unfinished, and I don't know who is going to finish those. Not be me. I can't be bothered. Just kidding. I do this a lot. Sometimes I would just look at a random unfinished painting and just get suddenly inspired to just finish it, and I do just that. So I'm just waiting on that for, let me see. I'm currently looking at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For 8 paintings, I'm currently just waiting on inspiration. And when that comes, I'll do it. If it ever comes. What? Who said that? Anyway, I cut my hair again. Just to recap, this was my hair before, and this is where it's currently at. And I'm going to answer the question that I get when anyone notices what I did is why. And I'll tell you why. I don't really know. So this all started when I bleached my hair. And the reason why I bleached my hair was because I just wanted something about me to change. And instead of seeking that change, inside, I decided to change the exterior, my appearance. I wasn't going to bleach my skin, a no-no for me. So the next thing I could do was either cream my hair or bleach my hair. And I thought, let's try that cream. No, I'm sorry, let's try that bleach. I did later on go on to cream my hair, and it messed my hair up. And I cut off all the dyed ends because, it was really damaged, like severely damaged. And then now what I was going to do was going to make my hair just continue to grow, and then I do a big chop. But I guess I got a little bit too impatient and I just did the big chop early. So now I'm going to be rocking my short hair. That's mostly natural because there's still a bit of cream parts in it because I was the one who cut it myself. Was that a wise idea? Not exactly, but I did it. And was it also the right move to make when your birthday is literally 2 weeks away? Oh, maybe not. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure I will be able to work something out. For some reason, I'm not really nervous right now. But I can't say that I won't be nervous once my birthday do come around. And, that's the day where people will be asking for pictures. And I guess I would have to I'd have to look like back in my gallery to find some old pictures. But necessarily people are just expecting you to see how you look now. And I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I did say I wasn't nervous, but I guess I kind of am. But again, we'll see what happened. Anyway, back to what's going on screen. But before that, I just want to apologize for shouting in your ears like that. I did not realize that I was doing that. And that's a tendency I have. I have a tendency of increasing the volume of my voice when I'm speaking to people and not realize it, until they have to point it out to me. Like you're saying, hey, you're talking too loud. Tone it down a bit. I'm like, whoa, I did not realize. And, well, weirdly, I have another tendency that I do that contradicts that. Sometimes I speak too low. It's weird. It's like I can't just speak at the right volume level, But anyway, I am liking how it looks on screen right now, but I did not enjoy how it looked at the end, to be honest. But this was just something to, ease me back into acrylic painting. A fun, no pressure exercise. So I'm not gonna be mad about it. I'm not. Once I was done, I just closed the book and just moved on with my day. That's it. If you're still here, I just want to say thank you so much for watching my video and listening to me rant. I don't get a lot of that. Put it aside, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.